Hey everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are playing some more Historic here on Magic Arena, and it is another glorious day in Decktember, and this beautiful looking deck was brought to us by KlocC in the Discord channel. So a huge shout out and a huge thank you to KlocC for submitting this deck. Again, Golgari is a great color. It's a lot of fun to be playing. I'm super happy to be playing another Golgari deck, even so soon from the last one. But this one is completely different than the last one. But real quick, before we hop into the deck, we're going to do a whole bunch of usual stuff that we do. First off, if you are not familiar with Decktember, Decktember is my way of saying thank you to each and every one of you for helping to grow this amazing community and this channel. So what I'm doing is I am playing viewer-submitted decks only throughout the month of December, and we are playing a few games with them. Then we're going to talk about it, make some changes, see if we can, help improve the deck or just bounce some ideas off of each other. And then we're going to play some games with our version, and then we're going to talk about the whole thing at the end of the video. So if you want to be a part of Decktember, there are still a few days left in Decktember, seeing as how we are almost to Christmas. I would like to get you to join the Discord and head down to the Decktember channel and get the template from the pin post and submit your deck. So, we don't have many days left, but there are still a few days. So I beg you just to go ahead and get in there and get them in there quick. So, yeah. And then also, if you like the video, like the channel, like the Decktember theme, maybe we'll have a cool theme for January. But all I ask is that you like, comment, subscribe, and check out all those cool links down below. And let's just hop right into this deck. Again, this deck is called Fiendish Ramp. So this deck, again, submitted by KlocC in Discord, looks to be a ramp / reanimator type deck. So I'm actually pretty stoked to be playing this. Again, we love playing ramp. We love playing Golgari. We love playing control type decks. We like doing really cool, crazy things. And this, I feel like, is going to cover a lot of them. So let's see what we're doing. Let's take a look at this whole deck. We do have 4 copies of Landware Elf for ramp. So we are going to be ramping because, again, Fiendish Ramp, and we accidentally just clicked off of a Landware Elf. So excuse me for doing that. We have 4 copies of Stitcher Supplier. This is going to feed our graveyard. When it comes into play, it's going to mill 3, and when it dies, it's going to mill 3. So a great way to get creatures in our graveyard. 3 copies of Explore, some more ramp there. We're going to be drawing a card, being able to play an additional land on each of our turns. We have Skull Prophet, another ramp and another mill card, 2 mana, 3/1, adds black or green mana, but then it also taps to mill 2 cards to feed our graveyard. And one of our payoffs for, and this is a payoff and a type of, enabler. So Fiend Artisan, 2 mana, 1/1. It gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. And for 1 and X, we get to sacrifice another creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less, put it on the battlefield. We just have to do it at a sorcery speed, so we can't do it while we attack. We can't do it during our opponent's turn. We have to just do it during our main phase. But that is going to potentially let us sack cards like Stitcher Supplier to go get other Stitcher Supplier, or if we have a bunch of mana, we could sack Stitcher Suppliers or whatever our other creatures are to go get our big payoffs in the form of a couple copies of Elder Gargaroth. This 5 mana 6/6 already. Think about that, a 5 mana 6/6. But wait, there's more. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Oh, that's really good, right? A 5 mana 6/6 Reach, Vigilant, Trample creature. I mean, a few years ago, this never would have existed. And then, oh, wait. Billy Mays again. I'm hearing him. Oh, wait, there's more. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you get to choose one of 3 different abilities. Create a 3/3, gain 3 life, or draw a card. So again, Elder Gargaroth is crazy ridiculously good. We also have a couple copies of Cavalier of Night. This 5 mana 4/5 lifelinker. When it enters the battlefield, we can sack another creature. If we do, we get to destroy a creature an opponent controls. And when it dies, we get to return a creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. So again, we could potentially use one of our reanimate spells in the form of Blood for Bones as an additional cost, sacrifice this spell. So we could sacrifice like Stitcher Supplier and then return a creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield. So Cavalier would be a good target. Elder Gargaroth would be a great target. When it comes into play, we could sack another creature, and then we also get another creature when this comes into play. I mean, there's just, or into our hand that we can recast. So there's just a bunch that we can do with this deck. So what else do we get to do? We have 3 copies of Balaged Recovery. Balaged Recovery is going to allow us to return a card from our graveyard to our hand. We can also play it as a land if we, need to have land. But I feel like we're not really going to be wanting to do that this game. We're going to be wanting to really go after cards in our graveyard because we will be milling a lot of cards. We have 3 copies of Maelstrom Pulse, destroy target permanent, non-land permanent, and all of the permanents with the same name. So this is going to be great against decks that are going to be playing a lot of cards in multiples. And then last but not least, one of our favorites, Casualties of War. This is a great card, 6 mana, can destroy up to 5 things. And then a couple Find Finalities. This is a really cool sweeper in this deck, I feel like. It also gets to, for 2 mana, return 2 creature cards from our graveyard to our hand. So this could potentially get us back, some Stitcher Suppliers to help mill us. A couple Fiend Artisans are really good, especially if we have a really big graveyard. This gets really, really, really big really quickly. Or if they killed one of our other cards and we have a bunch of mana, and we can just cast this for 2 mana, bring one of these back, spend 5 more mana, and then just boom, we have a big old beater again. And then to top it off, we have 23 lands. So a little light on the land there, but again, it makes up for it because we are playing 3 Balaged Recoveries, and we are playing 4 copies of Llanowar Elves. Remember, 4 copies because I accidentally clicked when we started, and then 4 Skull Prophet. So we have a bunch of mana in our deck. So I feel like our mana is going to be pretty good. But yeah, this is the deck. Again, thank you so much, KlocC, for submitting this deck. If I mispronounced your name, I am very sorry about that. But a huge shout out to you for this Decktember list. This looks like a lot of fun. And again, if you want to be considered for Decktember, join the Discord, head down to the Decktember channel, and grab that template from the pin post and submit your deck. So yeah, let's just hop into the games. Let's see what happens. And then we will see you guys soon here at the tune-up. All right, let's go. All right, it is time. Let's get our Fiendish Ramp on. Really digging the name of that deck. So we are going to try to do what we do. All right, Metter Duff. We have played you before. I recognize that name. We get to go first? Yes, please. Definitely yes. Ramp. All right, we just need there we go. Welcome to the game, Metter. Fear the Llanowar Elf. All right, what are you gonna get? You can get a forest of your own or a swamp. Forest. Forest of your own. Yeah, let's get in. Start making those attacks. Next turn we can actually Cavalier, which is pretty good, right? Depending on what they play. Charming Prince. What is... I guess really we have to figure out... I don't think we're going to play the Fiend Artisan. I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to play the Cavalier. We're going to play the Fiend Artisan and get in. Do we want this Stitch Fire? I don't think we do. Do we? Do we? What can we hit, potentially? You know what? We're not going to go get that. We can go search that out. And no attacks. We can mill 2 cards. Alright, well, Fiend Artisan is leaving the battlefield. Alright, let's do it to it. Alright, so this Blooming Marsh doesn't really do anything. I think we're going to play the Blooming Marsh, right? go ahead and get ourselves a 2/2 here. All right, we have a 4/5. We can get back a creature when it dies, which is only going to be a Skull Prophet. Oh, so they are on a Bant deck. Okay. Resplendent Angel. Did not expect Resplendent Angel. All right, well, we need some removal here. All right, not exactly what we were looking for. Oh, the Coco. Oh no. Oh, that's really bad. That's gonna turn on the Resplendent Angel. That's gonna give them an angel. Oh my gosh. What a horrible series of events, right? And with us drawing lands here, I don't think that we are going to see. They could just block with the Wild Growth Walker. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and kill the big flyer that we can't do anything about. Alright, we need to hit something pretty good. Elder Gargaroth would be good. Casualties of War would be pretty good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, opponent is playing the part of X and they're giving it to us. Oh my gosh. Yep. Alright, well, we're going to block there and block there. We don't even really need to block the Wild Growth Walker right now. But... okay, so next turn... Alright, well, we are drawing all of our mana dorks here. Alright, well... holy Thassa. I'm surprised you're just not going for the win in the air, right? Oh, that hurt. That hurt a lot. All right, best draw, I guess, is a Balaged Recovery at this point. Yeah, their deck is synergizing a lot better than ours is. I mean, this would have been fine before this got out of hand. It doesn't really matter. Opponent has another Collected Company. Plus an Uro. Yeah, I don't think that we are going to recover from this. Alright. It's up to this draw right here. Oh, blink that Uro. Alright, we did it. Good game. Good game, Metter. Was it, though? Was it a good game when we drew all of our mana? Thank you for not just going crazy and playing all the cards. But alright, well, unfortunate result. But it was interesting to see how the deck can actually kind of stall out when you start drawing just lands. So that's something we have to consider when we get to the rebuilding in the tune-up step. We're going to have to figure out what we can do about potentially, drawing a little bit better. All right, nice game. All right, and with game 2 comes the hydration. All right, I am so stoked. Let's not draw all of our land. I definitely want to draw land, but I don't want to draw all of it. So we have a turn 2 play. We have a turn 3 play in the form of Maelstrom Pulse. but we don't necessarily have anything we can bring back with the Blood for Bones. These are 2 dead cards in our hand, so we're gonna mulligan. This is a little bit better. So now we have to figure out what we want to put back. And it's obviously going to be between the casualties and the fine finality. So if they're on an aggro deck, the fine finality is going to be a little bit better. But if they're on like a colorless deck, okay, yeah, I think the fine finality would have been better anyway. Based on the fact that they're playing Teamer, yeah. Alright, well, the Explorer is actually a really good draw here. Maelstrom Pulse is actually a really great draw. Maybe they go crazy and play 2 more Servants here and we just get them really good. Rogue Refiner, not what we wanted to see. So, we're going to play this Blooming Marsh into this Fiend Artisan. I don't really think we need to kill the Servant yet. And that's fine if they want to harness Lightning or Fiend. Okay. No blocks. So this was an actual pretty good turn of events. So we don't have anything on 5. So we definitely don't want that. We are going to go ahead and pop some Servants, right? Oh, holy Spell Pierce. Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, but I mean, we have to play the tap land there, right? So they untap a land. And then you just have to try to get them, right? Alright, well, you are down to some lands. This is going to kill Nissa. Drew a Servant, okay. And another land. Not the best. Okay. What do? We get rid of Nissa first. Play Skull Prophet to block the Steam Vent, Stitcher Supplier, just as a dude. So they've drawn pretty well. Yup. So I'd really like to draw the Fiend Artisan that was on top of our library. Oh, what a great draw. Land, creature, artifact. Creature, land. Enjoy that energy. Ooh. Not gonna attack. I'm gonna hold back this blocker. I don't even know if it's correct, honestly, to even mill ourselves at this point. We do have to block. I feel like blocking is correct, and I don't feel like we should mill ourselves. But of course, we drew a land. All right. All right. So we have 1 land left, 1 basic left. They of course drew Refiner. I need everybody to remember that Rogue Refiner was banned in Standard at one point, so that card is pretty busted in regards to how energy works and everything. So right, well, we're just gonna play out a bunch of chump blockers at this point. I really don't feel like we can do anything else. I don't want to take unnecessary damage. So, yep, not looking good. Not looking good. So again, we're to the point where we just keep drawing lands. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we want to kill the black or the blue? I think the blue. We have enough to pay for a spell pierce if they have one. We're gonna hold this, make it look like we actually have something we can do. They get an island and have nothing. All right, well, it's not a card we want to be playing this late in the game. We're just milling all of our good cards away. So, well, that's a great card actually. As an additional cost. So I don't want to attack here, right? Because I don't want to give our opponent a chance to kill our Stitcher Supplier. Ooh, that Gargaroth is pretty spicy. Gargaroth into a Fiend Artisan is pretty good. So we just basically spent 4 mana for 16 power worth of creatures. And we're going to still keep this swamp in our hand. It really is not doing us any good. Wow. They have 2 Harness Lightnings. Okay, that is the game. Really thought about casting that Find Finale there, and we would have if they obviously would have killed. But yeah, we just got a fortunate series of draws. I do think, again, that our deck is lacking in the draw department, you know, once we run out of cards in our hand. So, again, something we need to focus on. All right, next game. All right, time for our final boss here. Well, not our final boss, but our little mini boss before we hop into our tune-up phase. So, again, got really lucky in that last game, I feel like. Our opponent was drawing really, really, really well, especially recovering really nicely from what we were doing to them. So, all right. We're going first. This is a weird hand, right? But we're going to keep this. We're going to play really, really, really off curve here. All of our lands come into play tapped. We do get to scry. We could potentially scry into like a forest or a swamp. Or an overgrown tomb. But we really, in that regards, only have, what, 7 total? So, I don't want another one of those right now. Alright, so we are going to have to do some pretty heavy ramp here. It is unfortunate that that hit there. Again, really, really want to hit one of our enablers. And by enablers, I mean, you know, an untapped land, something along those lines. Oh, perfect. Thank you, deck. So, this really is going to allow us to... Now we get to potentially wipe the board this turn if we need to. Which it looks like we're probably going to need to. I mean, we're not blocking. We just went 2 land in a row here. Are we greedy? Right? Is that the real question? How greedy are we? Do you think opponent has another Skirk Prospector since they were so willing to sacrifice theirs? I think they do, right? I think this has to be the play. I know this doesn't matter. It's gonna die anyway, but Chieftain. Yep, so they did. Chieftain into Prospector. We take 4. We're gonna need a lot of help, right? A lot of help. I think Chieftain's a little more important to get rid of. Snoop is really bad. Instigator. Now, you know that last card is a freaking Muxus. It always is. It always is, team. 4. I mean, have to do it. Oh, I mean, we're dead anyway. We're dead next turn. They don't even need to. They don't even get to. They don't even need to cast Muxus. All right, well, I guess we're bringing back... Oh. This has lifelink. 4 is better than 3? We have 1 mana left, so it's going to have to be Stitcher Supplier. Could be Llanowar Elf, but I feel like... At least with Stitcher Supplier, it does something. But... regardless, they're going to play that mountain off the top and cast Muxus. 100%. Oh, not even. Okay. So that's fine. So we're at 2. Oh, and right on time we drew the old Fabled Passage. So they're just gonna go through all of their cards, right? Yep. You did it. Good game. It wasn't really, because it was goblins, and goblins are stupid. So, I wish I could reach in and virtually rip their deck apart, right? Be like Neo from the Matrix, and just let's just get rid of that entire deck for good. So, all right, let's go talk about this stuff. All right, everyone, welcome to the tune-up here, a little phase that we have in the middle of our videos where we talk about the deck and then we do a little reconstruction on it. So what do we think about this deck? I definitely like the idea behind it. Obviously, Golgari is a really fun, set of colors to play around in. There's a lot of different ways you can build Golgari. So with this particular deck, I do think it is lacking in a couple things. I feel like it's lacking in card draw, and because we had multiple games. We did win one of them though, but really in all of our games we just weren't able to capitalize in any way. I felt like once we ran out of cards in our hand, we were just drawing land. We just didn't have any kind of like backup plan, in regards to card draw or just doing things from our graveyard. So I do think that we need to explore just some kind of more recursion. So that could be, ways to bring creatures back from our graveyard. It could also be, ways to, draw cards or just get extra value out of the cards we already have in play. So now with this being a recursion deck, Blood for Bones is great. I do like the value you get from Blood for Bones because you get to sacrifice a creature, and then you get to return a creature to your hand. You also get to put a creature into play. That is great. I'm not sure how I feel about the two big payoff creatures that we have, the Gargaroth or the Cavalier of Night. They may stay in, they may not, but I'm gonna have to go reevaluate to see what we have. I do actually like the Find finalities in this deck. Again, the Find half, just the 2 black or 2 green, the hybrid cost of the card. You have some really good targets. When you mill with Stitcher Supplier, or with the Skull Prophet, you could potentially get some really good cards in the graveyard. Example would be Fiend Artisan. And being able to bring back those creatures on the cheap, and especially in multiples, is really good. Now, what I'm not really enjoying about this deck, or where I feel like it could do a little bit of improvement, is I don't know if this deck necessarily wants Casualties of War or Maelstrom Pulse, or even the Skull Prophet. Skull Prophet might need to turn into a different Golgari 2-drop, and I'm not 100% sold on the Explorers. So we're gonna be going in. We're gonna look at quite a few cards here to see, and I know you notice here I've got 2 different copies of 2 sets of Temple of Maladies, and for whatever reason, sometimes when you import based on the list that you get, it will break them up based on what you have. So I do actually have 4 copies of each of these from each set, but again, this isn't really relevant, but I don't know why it breaks it up like that. So we're going to look at that. I may even potentially add another color into this deck, which I know is going to sound crazy, but it's really weighing on my mind if it would be beneficial to do that. And you'll know what I mean when you see it if I do that. So we'll have to take a look there. But again, I think we just need to look at the payoff creatures and just see what we can do here. And we really need to fix the land. The land I'm not 100% sold on. I feel like it's a little awkward playing 4 Fable Passages and then only having 3 basics. If at any point we draw, 2 of these and then draw 2 of these, then one of our land searches is dead. So I feel like we have to have at least 5 basics to support having 4 Fable Passages, in my opinion. But we might not even play the Fable Passages at all, depending on what we do, if we stay 2 or 3 colors. So yeah, we're gonna, again, with the magic of technology, we're gonna fast forward time, and we'll be back really quick, just in a few seconds, with the new version of this deck. All right, so let's take a look at this new version of Fiendish Ramp. So yeah, we added a 3rd color, but not in a traditional sense that you might be thinking. We actually are only going to need this 3rd color, this white mana, in order to cast the Unburial Rites from the graveyard with the flashback cost. So the rest of our cards are not really going to need white mana. Yes, Nethroi has white mana in its casting cost, but if we look at the mutate ability, the mutate cost does cost either green or white, so we don't necessarily need to be paying white mana for this. We can just be mutating with black and green, but since we are playing a ton of white mana now, we have access to a bunch of different white mana. We should not have a problem doing this either way. So what did we change? So we're not playing any turn 1 mana dorks. I really feel like they're going to take away from this deck. We want to really just focus on feeding the graveyard and actually just bringing back creatures from the graveyard. So there's going to be a lot of just 1 and 2 ofs in this deck in order to just try to get maximum value. Really did think about putting in an ultimatum in this deck, but I did not want to turn this deck into an ultimatum deck. We really just wanted to stick to the whole graveyard recursion that was submitted, because again, we don't want to, do things that are not warranted with this. So, all right. So what else are we going to do here? So we added in Mire Tritons, we added in Paradise Druids for the mana ramp instead. Again, we added the Paradise Druids here instead of the Llanowar Elves, because the Paradise Druids also do tap for any color mana. So we are wanting to, again, make sure that we have this additional white mana for this Unburial Rites. because the Unburial Rites is going to be a little more important, I feel like, than the Blood for Bones. This is going to just it's more important in regards to it. It adds value to our deck in what we were having a problem with those last few games is if we run out of cards and we're milling all of our good cards, we still are able to cast this from our graveyard. So we want to make sure that we're able to cast this Unburial Rites. So Unburial Rites, if you're not familiar, I haven't really explained it. It's a 5-mana recursion spell. For 5 mana, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Just 1 black and 4 colorless. However, if this card is in your graveyard, you do have the flashback cost of 1 white and 3 colorless, and it says you may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then you exile it. So this card allows us to cast it twice, essentially, once from our hand, once from our graveyard, and it is cheaper to cast from our graveyard at the cost of adding another color to the deck. So we have a ton of mill cards. We have, like I said, 4 Stitcher Suppliers, 3 Mire Tritons, 4 Glowspore Shamans. So this is a ton of self-mill. The Glowspore Shamans also could potentially help out our land situation because they can put a land back on top of our library if we need to. Still going to rely on 4 Fiend Artisans because I think Fiend Artisan is a great card. It's a 2 mana, 1/1 that could potentially just be an 8/8, a 9/9, a 10/10 very, very easily. Still playing 3 copies of Blood for Bones. I still do like this card and I want to play as much recursion as possible. We're going to play a couple copies of Gemraiser. I really want to test this out to see if the mutating ability onto something can really just get our opponent really good if they're playing an artifact or an enchantment-based deck. Sometimes, especially in historic, decks don't really, expect this card to be mutated. It's just kind of like, oh, what just happened? I did not really realize that was going to happen. So also we're playing, like I said, we're playing 1 Nethroi. Nethroi, whenever it mutates, we get to return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. So that is pretty big. And then also we do have a couple copies of Noxious Gearhulks, and we are going to really rely on this too, because this is a 6 mana 5/4 with Menace, really good stats. When it enters the battlefield, you get to destroy another creature, and if a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. So this is going to gain us some life back, and Massacre Worm is also in the deck, kind of for the same reason. This is going to be a mass removal spell. We still have Find Finality, but this is good against just a bunch of little creatures. Whenever it enters the battlefield, our creatures our opponents control are going to get -2/-2, and then whenever a creature an opponent control dies, that player loses 2 life. So really good if our opponent has a bunch of creatures in play. Maybe we can get goblins really good with this. However, though, goblins typically kill when they have a bunch of goblins in play. So it is going to have to be kind of one of those like weird situations where they don't have a haster. Or, maybe we're playing against like a elves deck or a, mono white deck, that just puts out a ton of creatures. And then we're playing 1 Ulamog. And yeah, if we recur the Ulamog from our graveyard, we don't get the cast trigger of exiling 2 permanents, but we still get to attack with it, and we still get to exile 20 cards, which regardless of what anybody says is still really good. So yeah, and then we upped the land count from 23 to 24. Again, we wanted to make sure we're able to hit all of our colors. We have 6 pathways in. We have some black-white pathways. We have some green-white pathways. Added a Castle Locthwain in case we run out of cards. We want to spend 1 life to draw a card every turn. It's pretty good. And we have some Triomes. Again, 3 color. This is in here, and it cycles, if we really need to. So this is going to be the new copy of the deck, and we're going to try out this Fiendish Ramp. And again, we don't need the white mana for this deck to function, but it does make it a little bit easier, and that's why we're giving it a shot. So, all right, let's head into the gameplay, and we'll see everybody at the wrap-up. All right, Fiendish Ramp, version 2. Let's do this. Let's start off with a sip of water. Oh, and that brought our opponent straight to the yard. Welcome to the game. All right, we're going first. These Gearhulks in the graveyard or in the hand are pretty interesting. I don't hate them. We're gonna keep. We're gonna keep. All right, well, not the cards we wanted to be hitting. Don't don't hate that. I don't want to attack because I would rather block with the Stitcher Supplier. You know, in case they drop a some kind of lord here. Okay. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Okay, do you get mana during your attack step? Now you don't get to do anything. Interesting. Alright, so we are not going to... Not going to attack with the Paradise Druid. So I feel like our opponent just kind of clicked through too quickly. Right? I got Blood for Bones. Let's see what we get here. Oh. What a beaut. So we will be attacking now with the Paradise Druid. For them to kill the Paradise Druid, I mean, they're going to have to expend a lot of resources here. This was a great draw. I feel like our opponent might be scooping. We're going to play this as a black source. Yeah, we're definitely going to take some action. That was a 4-point life swing. So yeah, I think this is a good show against the goblins. Oh, the old war chief. Oh, good game. Good game, goblins. Woo! That felt good. That felt really good. Oh, yes. And we got our revenge from the first series of games. So, all right, good game. Good game. Next game. All right, that was a sweet goblin game, right? The only type of sweet goblin games are the ones where you just destroy them and make them feel like their deck is worthless, which doesn't really happen that often, so. All right, we're going to keep this one. We're going to start off with the Triome. Oh, don't be goblins again. This is probably not goblins. So maybe we Mire Triton instead of Paradise Druid here, just to mitigate a little bit of the damage. Yeah, I knew it was this deck. I knew it was this deck. That will help eventually. Well, that Massacre Worm is going to be pretty good. That is, I don't even know if we're going to survive till then, though. That's the problem. That is a problem. All right, well, we're going to take 6 this turn. Oh, holy moly. Take more than that. We're going to take it. Go to 3. Need something good here. Yeah, I got to take that Mire Triton. Okay. Don't kill us, please. Okay. I think we've stabilized, right? I think we've stabilized. I definitely think you're blocking here. All right, we are at 1. I'm sorry, we take 1. We're at 4. Ooh, Andra. Oh my gosh. Wow, 2 very aggressive decks. And again, that one was really cool because we were on the ropes and they had a pretty good draw against us. And we were able to draw out of it thanks to that Massacre Worm killing everything. And Gem Razor doing work, so all right. And yeah, and we cast 2 Mire Tritons to gain 4 life, and without that we would be at 0 exactly. So all right, let's head into the next game. All right, how are we going to follow up those 2 very quick stompings against these mono red decks? How are we going to follow it up? Do we get another mono red deck? I mean, I hope we get a little bit of variance, right? All right, who can it be now? Welcome. All right, we go first. I actually like this hand. Do we shock? Is our opponent playing mono white based on their sleeves? All right, Noxious Gearhulk into the graveyard. No, they are not. All right, let's get in. Mutate. Oh, we got some mutate. We got some mutate. What do we mutate onto? Let's do it. You gotta feel like they probably have like a Pouncing Shore Shark or something along those lines, since they are... Hey, look at that. Pouncing Shore Shark. As predicted. Alright, well, unfortunately for them, definitely want to take action there. Oh, man. Well, hey, we're going to have some quick games with this deck, and that is going to be sweet either way. So, I'm really liking this deck so far. This deck is sweet. Yeah, there wasn't a lot wrong with that draw, right? It's exactly where we wanted to be. We wanted to be on a turn 1 Stitcher Supplier, turn 2 Paradise Druid, Mutate, which was fine. It didn't really have a target for the Mutate, but it became a 4/4. The reason I put it on the Stitcher Supplier was that we could attack, and knowing that they, since we saw the symbiote, knowing they probably were going to Shore Shark it, we were then going to be able to get back the Noxious Gearhulk. We had the Stitcher Supplier again in order to play it. We could still mutate this. I really felt like we were just so far ahead at that point, just knowing that we had those possibilities. So yeah, well, that's going to be the game. And let's hit into our final boss already. Wow. All right, final boss. Let's do it. Let's just get in there, see what happens. Going for the perfect 4-0. Would be pretty stoked to get a quick 4-0, right? All of our games have been super fast. 2 mono reds and a mutate deck. All right. You get to go first. So we don't have any mill cards, right? So that's a little awkward. We have so many in our deck. Keep it. Again, we're going to mulligan. This is a deck that we kind of have to mulligan a lot with. Let's... Yeah, I don't hate this. I don't hate it. Could have been worse. We do get some land fixing in the form of Glowspore Shaman potentially, but now we don't even necessarily need it. Nah, we're good. Green, white. Okay. All right, well, we got 2 Unburial Rites, and we have a worm in the graveyard. Yeah, that was a good game. What a quick final boss. So I guess I think I owe everybody a ultimate final boss, right? Yeah, let's do it. Let's get one more game in. And I mean, that final boss was on a mold of 5 as well, so I mean, if that doesn't say much about the deck. That doesn't speak volumes. I think this deck is potentially something special. Let's go first. Let's not mulligan. All right, well, we got the things we asked for. All right, let's do it. Let's do it to it. Like that Noxious Gear Hulk in there. Well, goodbye Blood for Bones, right? You have to get rid of that Blood for Bones, don't you? Oh. Okay, maybe they just knew we were going to draw. Let's just go ahead and shock this in. So they know we have a Blood for Bones. I don't mind. Would love to just draw a land, right? Roxa? Okay, we'll discard the Blood for Bones. Well, if we draw land in any form or fashion, other than a Blooming Marsh, I feel like we're in pretty good shape, right? Ooh, take that on Burial Rites. Aw, you're no fun. KlocC here is pretty good too. Play another KlocC, make us discard this on Burial Rites. Really? Guess they have to use their cards, right? Guess they have to use their cards. All right, well, we're getting close. I guess them getting back Luris here is not a horrible play. We obviously don't know what's in their hand, though. They could have a Dread Horde. Yep, okay. They got back to Luris. Well. Nothing really for them to play here except for a KlocC from their graveyard. Pyromancer, pretty good, pretty good. Luris, pretty good. Rutrow. Rutrow. I mean, part of me wants to get this Ulamog. But at the same time, I mean, I think I have to get the Ulamog, right? No tax. Oh. Dorkless. Oh, well, it was a good game. Yeah, that was kind of rough there for them. I really, for a second, I thought we had a Massacre Worm in our graveyard. We would have gotten a Massacre Worm there in a second. That would have put him down to 3, down to 1 with the attack. But yeah, nonetheless, good game. So we got a ultimate final boss in, which was cool. So let's head to the wrap up and let's talk about this. All right, everybody, welcome back to the wrap up. And wow, this deck was super fun. We crushed our games, and I am super thankful that we were able to actually build this deck and just, again, crush people with it. So KlocC, thank you so much for sending me your list, sending us your list, and letting me improve on it, because again, it was a lot of fun. So what did we learn from this overall? Well, we went 1 and 2 in our initial games with the original version, but then we went 5 and 0 with our list. So yeah, so it's unfair to put in giant creatures on the battlefield. The turn, many turns before they should be hitting the board. That's always been a thing in Magic. Reanimation is just absurd, especially when you get the right draws. I really feel like a lot of these cards are just really positioned really well against what the meta is. Massacre Worm is potentially really good. Noxious Gearhulk is really good. Gem Razor, I felt like, was really good in our matches. And then again, the additional life gain we get with Mire Triton is really good. And then the mana fixing, if we need it, with Glowspore Shaman is great. Fiend Artisan is great because we're milling, we're growing a Fiend Artisan, we're doing a whole bunch of crazy things. And then the synergy with Unburial Rites with all of the self-mill was just really sick. Now, overall, though, I feel like if I were to change this deck again in the future and play another round of it, the cards I think I would take out, and I don't know what I would replace them with right now, but I do feel like Nethroi may or may not been kind of a bust in this deck. And then a Fine Finality was just kind of, it was all right, but I just don't feel like in our games that those 3 particular cards, we really needed them. I think I would have just aimed for maybe some bigger payoffs. So Nethroi would just probably be just another big payoff creature. I don't know what though, but maybe like a fun, indestructible white dinosaur, whose name won't be named. Or we could do something, just some other crazy things. We could add another Massacre Worm. We could add, Ulamog, or we could just go in here and add, maybe some small creatures, maybe some mid-rangey type creatures. Could potentially put in, like the Gargaroth back in or something along those lines. But I do feel like I said, Nethroi and the Fine Finalities in our version of the deck don't necessarily need to be there. But I really feel like the mana base worked out really well for us. We had a great mix of black, green. Definitely only need 1 white mana for this deck to function. Don't even need the white mana for the deck to fully function because we can cast everything from our hand without white mana. So yeah, that's the deck. Again, this deck's a lot of fun. kind of expensive. There's a bunch of mythics, a bunch of rares in here. So if you want to play this, I'd give it a shot. But again, you may not have all of the mythics because there are a ton. But again, thank you, KlocC, for submitting this deck. It was a lot of fun. And again, if you want to be considered for a Decktember video, please join the Discord, head down to the Decktember channel, submit your list, because there are not that many days left in Decktember. And again, if you enjoy the channel, the video, and Decktember as a whole, all I ask is that you like, comment, subscribe, check out all those cool links down below, the Discord, the Twitch link for whenever I stream, and the Patreon link if you are so inclined. But yeah, any of those things helps the channel immensely. So thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you, KlocC, for the deck. It was sweet, so much fun. And then again, I just want each and every one of you to stay safe. And if we don't see each other before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all that stuff's coming. So yes, just stay safe, and we will see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.